So tonight's episode is fruits versus stars or horoscope.
Now, I've never been one that's really into horoscopes. Everybody knows the zodiac signs and those
Right.
types of things, but why is it so important now?
Well, I think because right now we live in a society where the Bible says a form of godliness and denying the power thereof, and so there's so many movies out about mystical, dark, and people are inquisitive about the afterlife while not really preparing for it. And so, because we're believers and we believe that salvation is found in Jesus Christ, we want to make sure that while you're living your life every day, you know what that looks like from a practical perspective, and making sure that you understand that while they're like, I'll give an example. For me, before I got saved, I grew up in a family that we were very superstitious. Like we had rabbits feet. You couldn't split the pole. You couldn't cut your hair unless it was a full moon. If something happened to you, I
That's
always,
that I've never heard
oh
that
yeah,
one.
we had a whole bunch of them. We had a whole bunch of superstitions. So if you're watching now, you're watching later, and you come from a family who has a lot of superstitions, put them in the chat what they are. So we had a lot of them. And so for me, making the mind shift to being a believer and what does the Bible say about all that versus what my childhood and my family all said about it, I had to make a decision. And I remember we were going to Germany. I was on a plane with a girl, and you know, she said something. I said something about, yeah, I guess I'm just lucky. And she said, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, "If this plane were to go down right now, what would you say?" I said, "I'll probably say, oh my God." And she said, "So why is it that when something good happens to you, you attribute it to luck?" And for me, that was the beginning of God really helping me to reconcile what I believed growing up and what does the Bible say, and so that I could have a biblical worldview and not a secular worldview.
And I think that's a transformation that happens over time.